Welcome to the place where mountain motor rocket sleds are the chosen mode of transport for the men and women of mud racing. Between the work of art that is the dirt dragster and the massive horsepower that gets it down the track, the best of the best look to till some Tar Heel topsoil in search of the fastest time. The best dirt draggers in the business have descended upon the riverside community of Sanford, North Carolina, about an hour south of Raleigh. Here at the Lee County Mud Motorsports Complex, and this tilled clay surface has held some amazing horsepower over the years. Legends, second-generation drivers, and legacy teams have shown up again in 2021 to try to go for the big bucks, and it's harder than you think to get the horsepower to the ground. We're going to show you highlights now from yesterday in our cut tire class, and there you see the cut tire. It's a DOT bogger tire, cut paper thin, try to get a nice meaty tread to get that horsepower into the clay, and it's not as easy as you'd think. You can blow the tires off with all the horsepower that these cars generate. We're going to be running on the track on the far side there, not the mud pit you see in the foreground. But again, we're going to show you highlights from that cut tire class from yesterday. Under the sun and then under the twilight, Adam Waldron out of Maysville, West Virginia sets the pace. 2.413 seconds to open things up here in Sanford. Then Thomas Small with a little bit of a wild ride out of Huntington, Massachusetts, carrying the front end. He would get a second shot, though. There was a malfunction with the clocks. He did not get a time on that run. He'd come back for another run here in session number one. Here is Kevin Stone in the grind out of the Buckeye State. 0.2 of a second faster than Adam Waldron to take the top spot. Thomas Small back on the line, and once again carries the front tires. That would hurt his time, although he bettered the run that he did the first round. There you see the heart attack, popping the hatch. We'll get another look at that run. Very unfortunate, a vehicle that should have done very, very well here this weekend. You see the pop underneath. Still lays down a 3.437 second run, but not going to get him in the big money. He would go off on the hook. Again, very unfortunate for a vehicle that should have been right in this program. Greg Monsmith out of Warsaw, Indiana. He'd end up having a good weekend in the cut tire class in spite of getting into the rail there in session number one. He would come back with an amazing run in session number two under the twilight. And Bruce Wilson out of Mount Pleasant, North Carolina by way of Los Angeles, California lays down a 2.707 second run. It was followed by Billy Fling with this amazing pass. Pops an engine and still lays down the fastest time of the afternoon session at a 2.134 second run. And there you see the fuel cap flying through the air as he goes down the track. Paperboy Express, Paul Wessinger out of Spring Grove, Illinois, gets into the rail in session number one. He would lay down a 2.590 second run and come back in session two under the lights with a 2.154 second run to get him in the top of the field. Barney Hall with problems in high strung. He has a blower pulley come apart on him. Does a little dollar damage and unfortunately would end his weekend with a 2.721 second run. And there was a lot of scrap metal that had to be picked up out of the dirt before we could run another one of these cars down this track. You did not want that metal cutting one of these tires. Now, Touch of Madness, Dale Ellenberger, originally out of Butler, Pennsylvania, gets down the track in good shape on a 2.116 second run. And then the legendary S-Kick of Petersburg, West Virginia, with a 2.554 second run. Kevin Stone would wrap up the session with a 2.374 second run. Not fast enough, though, as Greg Monsmith had come back and laid down a 1.893 second run. We're not done yet, though. We got the paddles coming up next. Stay with us.
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by Monsters Monthly. For up-to-date show, ticket info, and a wide selection of photo and video galleries, visit monstersmonthly.com. And by RPM Army, featuring action-packed content from around the web. Visit rpmarmy.com, your source for motorsports on the go.
The rain is moving in on Sanford, North Carolina, which is not exactly good news for this fast track. These engines get very temperamental with the humidity, and this track will get very slick very quick, which is a bit ironic considering these cars kind of came from the mud. The paddle tire class coming up on the line. The fans enjoying the sights and sounds of the fast track today. Ned Brandenburg out of Gillard, Michigan, and eating ramen. Starts off our paddle tire session. Brandenburg laying down a 2.601 second run. Looked like he was having a little bit of trouble getting the power to the ground. Had a cylinder going away on the left side of the engine, it looks like. Smoke out of the right side as well, but you can see good problems for Brandenburg. Now here's the guy who won the cut tire class, Greg Monsmith out of Warsaw, Indiana. Lesson learned. Putting the horsepower to the ground, and he drives all the way through the pit. 1.872 seconds for Greg Monsmith. That is the new fast time on the track overall. That includes the run that he laid down in the cut tire class at a 1.893. So Monsmith has a lot to be proud of here. He will take the lead early in this field, which is good because the rain is moving in and this class may get called early. In fact, the rain is already starting to fall, and they're having to till this track between every single car to try to keep the mud down and to let these guys get the horsepower into the clay. Rick Kessner of Petersburg, West Virginia, in the legendary S-Kicker, formerly driven by Jeremy Finley. This car has had some amazing rides in its storied history. Rick doing it proud, bringing the name back to the chassis. We'll see what he has here in the paddle tire class. Session number 1 underway. Nice straight run for the S-Kicker and Kessner. Well, the clock didn't stop, but okay, the clock inside the building is reading a 2.303 second run, so he will not get past Monsmith, although that was fairly apparent based on the run. Another legendary vehicle about to roll out with a second-generation driver behind the wheel. This is Chris Galloway out of Richfield, North Carolina, driving the Valvoline-sponsored Night Shift. See him purging some nitrous right there. This is a very storied team in this industry. They've been around for quite some time. Ran in the Pro Stock class back in the NMRO days very, very successfully with Darrell Galloway behind the wheel. Let's see what Chris has here in the paddle tire class aboard Night Shift. All the way through the pit. They took out some trees, barricades, filled in a pond down there, and it's a good thing they did because he used up all the shutdown area he could find. 2.321 seconds. Not quite what he was looking for, but They'll get him into the top 5 for the moment. Another look at the run, and you can see he plants the horsepower pretty quickly. The rain is coming down, but the track still seems to be holding the horsepower for the moment. Chris Galloway driving all the way out the back door in night shift now. The man originally out of Los Angeles, California, now driving out of Mount Pleasant, North Carolina. Bruce Wilson and California Thunder. You can hear that blower working. I don't know if it's time. 2.7 flat. Not what he was looking for in that run. Not a bad run, but it seems like he's been having a little trouble getting this thing to really dig into the track and get down there. And you can see the rain is falling fast right now, and that's really going to hurt times as we move through this fast track class, the paddle tire class. Now Scott Snarsky out of Libertyville, Illinois in Paperboy Express. You saw Paul Wessinger drove this vehicle in the cut tire class. Snarsky, one of the most fearless drivers in mud racing, at the wheel of this mid-engine rail. Let's see what he has. Here in the paddle tire class, he could get past Mondsmith. Got to get down this track straight. Cover the distance very quickly. Comes to the left-hand side, stays out of the rail, and a 1.969 second run to move into second place. Scott Snarsky, nothing to be ashamed of. He was right there behind Mondsmith, but he is not going to take the top spot. We're going to take another look at that run now. Watch him dig in and get down the track. I tell you what, I think if it wasn't raining, he might have been able to walk past Mondsmith. That was an awesome run for Scott Snarsky. Now, the show. Paul Palmer out of Palmyra, Virginia. Again, moving to the left-hand side, and I have to believe that this track is deteriorating very quickly when we see all zeros right there. Paul Palmer not going to get a time. So they're trying to figure out, it looks like he left some parts on the track up at the starting line as well. They're going to do a quick groom, retill the dirt, try to keep some of the water out of the track, but you can see on the last couple runs, it is definitely going away now. Touch of madness. Dale Ellenberger out of Leon, West Virginia, originally out of Butler, Pennsylvania, in this legendary machine. He can get the job done. Let's see what Ellenberger has here in Sanford in the paddle tire class. And those butterflies slapped shut. Unfortunately, something going away on the run for Dale Ellenberger. And we'll get another look at it. Watch the 4 butterflies on the front of the engine. You will see them go from black to blue in a hurry. And with that, we will wrap up the paddle tire class. It has been called official. The rain is hurting the track. It's an awful lot of wheel speed. Try to get down there. You can see how hard the rain is coming down there. You see a blower belt hanging down underneath the Touch of Madness. That's what went away on him. Broken blower belt brings an end to his run before it even really got started. Still got down the track, all right, but not going to get in the top 5. Greg Mondsmith with that 1.872 second run, followed by Scott Snarsky, the only 2 that got down in the sub 2 seconds today, which is a little bit odd in a paddle tire class. And you see Rick Kessner, Chris Galloway hanging in there, number 4, and Ned Brandenburg, who set the early pace, hanging on in number 5 at a 2.601 second run. We're not done yet, though. Before the rain completely swamps us out, we've got the Gnarly Nitrous Shootout coming up. The rain continuing to fall here in Sanford, North Carolina at the Lee County Mud Motorsports Complex. The fans, though, enjoying the action from under the tents, under the umbrellas. Getting some great action in on the fast track today. Now, we move into the Nitrous class, which opens up with a guy who finished in number 4 in the paddle tire class. Comes right back around to the starting line. That is Chris Galloway out of Richfield, North Carolina, in this legendary machine called Night Shift. Didn't drive near as far through the lane as he did in the paddle tire class, but looks like he'll set the pace pretty well with a 2.314 second run. Chris Galloway looking solid as he sets the pace here in the Gnarly Nitrous Shootout. That should actually hang in there on this track. Still covering that distance quick, though. You'll notice the times won't be quite as fast. Robert Gallagher out of Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania in the Black Mamba. This is a vehicle that could definitely get the job done. Purges the nitrous, gets ready to lay into this track as the fans look on from underneath the tents. Not what he was looking for at all in the Black Mamba. Gallagher all over the track. Still lays down a 2.548, so he's not out of the conversation, but there's plenty of room for the rest of our competitors to get in between him and Galloway. As we get another look at this, you can see the car pulling off to the left-hand side, which we saw quite a bit in the paddle tire class, the blower class, and not what he was looking for. Up next, John Tomlin out of Moundsville, West Virginia in Sinister. Putting the power into the track. And he's done it. 2.109 seconds to take the top spot. Jonathan Tomlin in Sinister. Pretty straight shot. He carried the front end a little bit, but he got it back down, made the horsepower straight as an arrow for Tomlin. Up next, Jay Range out of Newport, North Carolina. Full-body Chevy Silverado called Cornbread Chicken. And that water is definitely becoming a problem. It looks like he was just blowing the tires off. 3.236. Definitely not going to get him in the top of the field. Not what he was looking for at all. And blowing off a little nitrous right there. Watch again. Watch the rear tires. They're digging. I mean, he wasn't having a problem getting the horsepower to those back tires, but they were just not getting a hold of anything in there. Digging down to the bottom, and it's like running on tile at that point. Gotta give it to the track crew, though. They're still getting the track out here with the rain coming down, and on these fast tracks, when you start getting water in them like that, it can play havoc. Now, Bill Owen out of Hamilton, Michigan in Unfiltered. Pulling off to the right. That's going to hurt him a little bit, but a good run nonetheless. Let's see where he ended up. 2.587 second run. So that'll drop him down into, I believe, about 4th place. You can see, though, the track going away. You can see the water collecting on the sidewalls of these cut tires that he was running here this afternoon. He's actually pulling double duty. He'll be back in the Hill and Hole pit next time. Up next, a little twister out of the state of Alabama. This is J.R. Chandler. Full-bodied 85 Ford Ranger. This machine is all Ford. And he has trouble finding traction here. 3.167 seconds. Not getting anything near what he was hoping for in this pit. The grooming tractor heads right back down the left side of the lane where he was. Is getting ready to bring out our last couple of competitors. And here's a name a lot of the fans have Mud racing may recognize Hillbillies on Alcohol. This is Todd Franklin out of Sunbury, Ohio. See if he can get the job done. Not a bad run for Franklin as he found something down center. He had the right rear tire just about in the middle of the track. 2.453 seconds for Hillbillies on Alcohol, and that'll put him in third place for the moment. The grooming tractor comes back out, grooming between every single car. It is harder than it looks to build the perfect pit, even harder to maintain it, especially when the rain starts to fall. Our final competitor out of Summer Duck, Virginia, part of a two-driver team, second generation in this car. This is Katie King in Pure Aggravation. Another mid-engine rail out of the Old Dominion. And she will be the lone driver here this weekend. Again, we're going to knock this class down to one session. Keep it safe in this pit for these drivers. Let's see what King has. Well, that car might be living up to its name today. Not the run she was looking for, but she did better Todd Franklin, so she'll get herself into third place. I'll tell you what, if this track had been dry, some of these guys needed that second session, but making do with what they had. Nothing to be disappointed about. Some great passes here on the fast track today. The Gnarly Nitrous Shootout, Jonathan Tomlin with a 2.109 second run, followed by Chris Galloway at 2.314. Then a pair of 2.4s with Katie King and Todd Franklin. They were very close. And then Robert Gallagher with Black Mamba with that wild ride still manages to get into the top 5. Then it was Bill Owen and Unfiltered, J.R. Chandler and Little Twister, and Jay Range and Cornbread and Chicken rounding out the field. We're not done from here in Sanford. You are not going to want to miss the fastest of the fast in the Hill and Hole pit next time. It's going to get wild. Thanks for joining us. A big thank you to the staff and crew here at Lee County Mud Motorsports Complex. We will see you next time.